This is the Prodigal Perspective, presented by EA Recovery.
Welcome back to the show. We are your hosts. My name is Damon.
I'm Justin.
I'm Daniel.
And I'm Matt, and this is the Prodigal Perspective.
So on the show this week, we are going to discuss what it is like to work in the recovery world, whether it be faith-based or the secular recovery world. And so what we've done is we've just thought of a bunch of questions and things that some people may ask, some people may not ask, actually. But I get this a lot. You know, what's the hardest part about working in recovery, or what's it like when somebody falls? And so, you know, we just want to kind of dive into that this afternoon. And so I guess we should start off with, you know, what is probably the hardest part to you guys? What's the most difficult part about getting to do this work?
For me, I mean, it's several things kind of popped into my mind, but the main issue that I'm facing like right now is kind of separating personal life and work life.
So work-life balance.
Finding the balance, because I mean, when you work, I mean, there should probably be several people doing my job, but like when you're on call basically 24/7, 365, I mean, like at any time I could get a call and have to go to work. You know what I mean? So it's hard to, I don't know, it seems like at the most inconvenient times, like when I'm trying to spend time with my family and stuff, that's when I get calls and have to work and stuff like that. So it's just hard right now to kind of find that balance for me.
I allow guilt to put me in places with the ministry sometimes that really and truly, you know, I don't need to be there, but I will allow guilt thinking I'm like overworking the staff, or, well, the guys, they really haven't even seen me but twice this week. You know, I need to be there, but I will allow guilt to push me out of the house and doing that. And really, I probably need to be at home more than that. What about you guys? What's the toughest part?
Oh man, for me, there's several tough things. Lately, you know, I mean, it's always tough when you have a guy that like you've sewed into a lot of time, and then all of a sudden they make the wrong move, or this dumb choice to like go chase some girl or whatever. Especially if that girl's a bartender, don't ever do that.
Yeah, that works
girls are never good.
Where does that particular bartender work?
Somewhere in Morrilton.
Somewhere in Morrilton.
But it's never a good idea to do that. But, you know, that's frustrating in the job, but also that's like Jesus' part. I'm not God, so I can't like reach out and save that dude or change his heart, and I just have to land there on that. But the other hard part for me is knowing when the cutoff point is for making the decision to dismiss somebody, knowing that it could be fatal for them. You know, if they, you know, we always do the one thing where we try to get them somewhere else and all that, but a lot of times they don't accept that. And so whenever they do leave, there's always that thought in my mind, like, what, should I ever dismiss him, or should we have dismissed him, or should we have just kept trying? Because I know that, like, for me, that's what Jesus did. He kept coming after me.
Yeah, I mean, there's something to be said about not giving up on a person, but we have to understand too that person cannot give up on themselves. Yeah. You know, when it's me fighting for you more than you fighting for you, I think that's a pretty good cutoff time, you know, in my own opinion. What about a bartender at another place, though, and not the one particularly in Morrilton? Would that be okay? No? Okay. Yeah, I was just...
No bartenders are ever good.
Yeah, if you're in recovery.
Yeah, if you're in recovery, probably the stupidest thing you could do is get with a girl that is a bartender.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, if you hang out in the barber shop long enough, you're definitely going to get a haircut.
Yeah, that boy probably got faded up today.
Yeah.
Anyway, what about you, Matthew?
Yeah, I think for me, it's going to have to be like staying focused on my own recovery. In the past, that's definitely been my downfall. I would say like 90% of people that work in this field are in recovery. I mean, it's kind of one of the qualifiers. It's not the qualifier, but it is one of them. And so being able to stay focused and not get that delusion in your head that somehow because you're at work every day that you're in the solution, because odds are you're actually in the problem.
Yeah. Man, that's funny you mentioned that. You know, it's not the qualifier, but it's a qualifier. What do y'all think about that? People that have never even gone through recovery or struggle with addiction actually working in this field?
It kind of confuses me because
Does it?
why would you want to really?
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
yeah.
But I don't know. I personally think like I mean almost everybody I work with, or I think actually everybody that I work with is in recovery.
Yeah.
But I think a lot of this like you can't learn in class or in a book. Like
No.
you got to live this out to really know.
Yeah. I mean, I can think of 3 people that I know that they've never struggled with an addiction, but yet they were some of the most powerful people in the faith-based realm for sure. What do y'all think about that?
I think you have to be really honest with yourself about the level that codependency plays in your life and the negative impact that it, and being addicted to the love for that person can play a negative role in your life. Because I mean, addiction is doing anything compulsively that has a negative impact on your life. And so if I'm compulsively allowing this person's behavior to have a negative impact on my life, then odds are that's an addiction. And that's what codependency is. And, you know, there's a lot of people that I've seen be able to help others going through addiction because they identify as a codependent.
Yeah. What about you, Daniel?
Man, for me, I don't know. I think of this. I think of all the times that somebody that wasn't an addiction tried to speak into my life.
Yeah.
And
I think that's the big one for me too.
I'll be honest with you. I'm not going to let you. I mean,
Yeah.
Nowadays I will let you because I'm not in that addict mentality. But I mean, and I'm pretty sure I've got like a room full of guys that relate to that. Because I mean, how can you tell me how to get through something if your only thing is you eat too much chocolate? I mean, it's different to me.
Yeah.
You know, you can't tell me that. I'm gonna look at you and go, man, what are you talking about? Like, dude, that's like I'm dying over here. Let's put your little chocolate addiction away here, and realize that like I need somebody. I need some real help.
Yeah, I mean, but then it comes to the point too. Like I said this a couple weeks on the podcast, a couple weeks ago, where you know, I would go to like a 12-step, like a Celebrate Recovery, and there were people in there that they have codependency issues, or they have, you know, like I eat too much chocolate, and I was sitting there thinking like, man, I'm smoking meth.
Yeah,
you know, like shut up.
my teeth are falling out.
Yeah, but now I go to those meetings and I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm codependent.
Yeah.
Like that's something I never worked on. Could that be the very reason that I was smoking meth? Maybe, maybe not. I don't know. I think it derives from the same, I don't know, blueprint or fabric. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
For sure.
Odds are too, like something you got to think about is like even people that work in this field and they're not necessarily addicts themselves. In most cases, they've probably been affected by addiction in some way,
Yeah.
like a family member.
I think that one's huge. I mean, Dr. Pillow, he'll tell you like he has never had an addiction, but yet his son overdosed. You know, and I mean that speaks for itself. Like, dude is like, well, they call him the rehab rabbi or something like that.
You have to get that passion from somewhere, and usually that's where it'll come from.
Yeah, I think somebody else said this a while ago. I don't know if, I mean, it made me think of this anyway. Somebody said something about like the savior complex. You know, like being so was that you, Matt? That said being so codependent that you get caught up in the like the compassion side of it and being trapped in that. You know, what have you ever heard that expression, like the savior complex? Like only you can be the one that comes in and saves and all that. And man, I've seen people fall because of that. Yeah.
Yeah, big time.
How do you avoid that? How do you avoid the savior complex? And I guess for me, it would be understanding that I'm not the savior. You're not God.
That's it. That's what I was just saying.
Yeah,
earlier.
that's what you were saying. Yeah, okay.
You know, I mean, that's where you have to just go, look, man, yeah, I've done everything I can do at this point, but like, man, I'm not Jesus. Like, ultimately, as much as I want to help that person, as much as I care about that person, I also know that I was taught an analogy a long time ago about a bucket of snow crabs. And they were like, man, if you have these crabs in a bucket, you know what I'm saying? Like, one of them will try to get to the top, but the other one will always grab it and bring it back down. And I mean, I feel like that's, you know, what can happen if you let it.
That's good. Yeah. That, I mean, I'm just kind of looking at some of the questions here, but you know, what is the hardest part about what we do? What's the most difficult part about working with addicts? Not necessarily, did I already ask that?
Yeah, I think so.
Did
That was
I?
the first question.
Did I start?
the
Yeah,
first?
maybe edit that
Oh,
out.
that was the first part.
Yeah, hold on. Let me
You said
get,
it a little differently, but
yeah.
I mean, the other part is seeing people fail. You know, I mean, like Daniel said earlier, you pour into somebody, and you want them to do good. You know, for a while they do well, and you see all the potential, and then something happens in their life where the behavior starts to creep back in, and at that point, there's really nothing you can do about it but sit back and watch. And that's the worst part is sit back and watch somebody that you care about deteriorate in front of your eyes.
Let me ask you this: how much should you allow care? And what I mean by that is, where's the boundary between friendship and client? How do you isolate that? Because I can tell you from my own experience, like that is very important. Like you have to draw the boundary.
Yeah.
You know, one of my best friends is in our program right now, and I have tried to make it a point to where I'm not showing him any type of favoritism. What you got is what you've earned, you know? And at the end of the day, like I have watched that play out over and over and over and over. And I think sometimes, like, you know, you got your friend in the program or whatnot, and you allow them certain freedoms and certain, I don't know, privileges, if you will, and it winds up not teaching them anything. And then they're right back in the same predicament, perhaps even worse. You know, but how do you guard against that? Because you can't help who you get close with.
I had to do that with Leslie, man. I mean, that was one of the first lessons that I learned as soon as she come through the door. And I remember this. You know, I'd been at John 3, and I know what it was like. And so, like, I knew what it was like coming out of addiction, but, like, Leslie had never tried. She made it out of addiction once, but it was like she was only, like, on meth for, like, a month at that time. And I think you'll have to edit that out. I can't actually say meth. So there's that.
Can we not say meth?
Mm-mm.
Well.
It's just a YouTube, Facebook thing.
I'll take it out.
But
Beep.
you know, the one
It's
thing,
gone.
the one thing that I had to do is I told Ashley, I said, look, I don't want any special privileges with her or nothing like that because look, I want her to get her own walk. I don't want her to have my walk, you know. And so like when she's in the program up there in the women's side, man, the best thing I could really do is stay away. And it was a little bit difficult at first, but like even with Cody coming through, you know, I've kind of, even though I don't really know the dude, I've let other people do it because it's beneficial to him.
Well, and I mean, that's one of those situations too, where like, that kid's earned it.
Yeah.
And that kid's worked his tail off since he's gotten here. And the person that I'm talking about, I mean, y'all know.
Yeah.
He's earned that. He didn't come through here like lollygagging around and try to friend up everybody. Like that dude works day in and day out on a volunteer basis right now, I might add, remodeling this place. And you're going to get certain things. Yeah, you're going to get accolades out of it. You know, and I hate how we kind of have to teach that too in the program because that's not how Jesus works. You know what I mean? It's kind of a tit for tat in the program, but God doesn't do that. Not really, but maybe kind of. It depends on how you want to define and get particular about the words.
Oh no, I've got a lot of favor.
Yeah.
I've had a lot of favor.
Yeah.
I think it's about voicing the boundary and voicing the intent from the very beginning.
That's
it's
a good look. Yeah.
Putting it out there in front of not only them, but everybody else that's involved and saying, like, this is the way that it has to be, and it's because I care about you.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. And I care about our friendship, and I care about my job too. Right? You know, I care about.
Big one.
Well, that's huge, and I also care about the respect for my staff. Like I watched this go on for years, and I'm like, I lost respect, and I don't really mind saying that on record here or air or whatever you want to call it.
It's also like like a lot of people that work in this profession, like especially like therapists and social workers, all that, they have like a strict outline. You know what I mean, of like ethics and guidelines they got. Like, I mean, once you act as like a therapist for someone, like you can't have a relationship.
Well, I mean,
you
just said
can't
it.
even be Facebook friends.
Yeah, you just said it. It's unethical.
It's unethical, but there's no guideline like that for if you don't have a degree, if you work in ministry, if you're a peer specialist, there's really no like outline of how you're supposed to do it. So I mean, I think for me, it's just been live and learn. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah, because at the end of the day, what we do, like, we're still called to disciple.
Yeah.
You know, we're still called to have a certain level of a relationship with people. I mean, our whole organization is built on that very term, relationship. You know, whoever has the influence has the relationship, and whoever spends the most time with the person has the influence. And so, and also in faith-based ministry, man, like you're prone to spend a lot of time with your clients.
Yeah,
for sure.
Well, how do you feel about like females working in male ministries and vice versa? Like, how do you feel about that?
Oh, man.
That's hard.
You know, I don't want to sound misogynistic to any degree. Okay, just for instance, like if we had a women's ministry here, I would imagine that I wouldn't have a lot of input in it. That makes sense?
Probably not.
You know, I may even be asked to be over the person that's over the women's ministry. I don't know, and it doesn't matter. Like the main thing is that we get a women's ministry.
Yeah.
And it's badly needed. But at the same time, like I'm not gonna go sit there and try to counsel a female. For one, like I don't think Amber would appreciate that. But two, I don't have like the experience with some of that stuff.
Yeah.
My experience is all negative toward females until the last 6 years that I've been married. And that didn't really start off with a good encouraging note either. You know what I mean? Like over the past 5.5 years, Amber and I have really like put it together. But man, I don't know, because I don't want to put a strong yes or no out there.
Yeah.
Because I think there are men that are over women's ministries that they do a good job, but yet they have a woman team that does it.
Yeah, and some of the best like therapists and counselors I've ever had in my life were definitely women.
Yeah.
You know, and I think maybe it's different for each person depending on like the things that you've been through in your life.
Yeah.
But I probably needed to talk to a woman
Yeah.
about some of my stuff.
I mean, there were times when Ashley Polston worked here that, you know, we'd have a man that was struggling with whatnot, and I'd be like, hey, Ashley, will you meet with him?
Yeah.
You know, and so I just think it's all case by case on that. A lot of this stuff is. A lot of what we deal with is a case by case. But I think, too, like there are certain guidelines that you need to follow in that. Like, okay, say you have somebody being counseled by a female, like there probably needs to be another female in the room or another man, especially if the doors are closed. In this setting here, now, let's say that I'm at a professional counselor or professional psychiatrist office. Well, they're not going to have two people in there,
No.
you know?
No, but they have a lot. They have a whole lot of standard
A
operating
lot of
procedures,
standard.
a lot of standard practices and things like that set up in place. And so I think I would land at the same place, whereas, like, I don't have an answer for it, yeah or no, really. I guess it would be cool, man, if you got the right parameters set in place, the right boundaries. You know, like never should you be alone with a female.
Yeah.
In a, you know what I mean, or whatever, and it protects you both. It's like it protects her and you. You know, because I mean, stuff can be said. A lot of the women or men are dealing with a lot of trauma, and so you don't never know whenever you say something that's going to trigger them, and then they're going to be like, oh, he's done this or done that. So you always want to set that protection up. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Let's go at the faith angle here on what we get to do. Let me ask you this: can someone ever recover without a spiritual transformation?
I believe they can, but I believe it's not going to last.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So I don't believe they can fully recover now. And I mean, there's a reason that, faith-based, AA, NA, all this stuff points in the same direction. You know what I mean? It's all spiritual.
It's all a spiritual condition.
So, I mean, I believe, in my experience, I've come across working in secular, I've come across a lot of people that are like, I don't want to hear anything about God.
Yeah.
I want to work this program and not, whatever. And unfortunately, those are the guys that keep falling. They keep coming back. They keep coming back. And I mean, I think the honest answer is no. I mean, you might stay sober for 6 months, maybe a year.
Yeah.
But eventually you're going to fall. And I mean, even if you don't, even if you stay sober for the rest of your life, sober people go to hell too. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah, just
what's
because
the
someone
point?
doesn't believe it doesn't mean it's not true.
Right.
You know? What about y'all? Do you think you have to be spiritually transformed?
So I'll say, like, for my life, the consequences that I went through in life were sometimes good enough to prevent me from using for a while.
Yeah.
Like he said, I don't feel like it's going to have a lasting effect because that's not my experience.
Right.
Because I was only focusing on what the problem was. And once I cleaned the problem up by program action or whatever it was outlined, then I didn't have any reason to stay sober anymore.
Yeah.
I just went and started using again. And so, what we do and what I think the solution is we show what the solution is.
Yeah.
And it's transforming of your mind. It's changing. It's being something completely different.
Completely different.
So
I believe that for this answer, man, I'm going to go to the Bible.
Love it.
Matthew 12:43 through 45 says, when an unclean spirit comes out of a man, it goes through arid places seeking rest and does not find it. Then it says, I will return to the house that I left. When it arrives, it finds the house unoccupied, swept clean, and put in order. Then it goes and takes 7 other spirits more wicked than itself, and they go in and live there, and the final condition of that man is worse than the first. That is how it will be with this wicked generation. And so what I hear right there, man, is a guy like gets it up there, he gets everything cleaned up, his life straightened, and everything looks like it's in order. But when that spirit comes back around, man, they realize that the Holy Spirit is not dwelling there.
Yeah, it doesn't. It's not
And so
present.
he's able to move back in and bring with it seven times stronger. And I know that's true in my life.
Yeah, mine too.
So
Yeah,
That's
I mean,
really good.
It said, yeah, that's good. And it says to be transformed by the renewing of the mind. It says in the Bible to put off the old self, to put on the new self. That anyone in Christ is a new creation. A new creation is just that. It's something brand new.
Yep.
And what I hear, when I hear somebody say, "Well, I don't believe in God," and they've been clean for 40 years, then I automatically, and this may be wrong, and that's on me. Like, it's okay. I hear character modification.
Yeah.
Or character, isn't that what it's called?
yeah,
behavior modification.
Behavioral character something. I don't know. Behavioral modification.
yeah.
And that's not transforming,
no,
No,
not at all. It just means that you've cleaned up and you've stopped doing some of the things and everything looks great on the surface. But if you never have that true heart change, and here's the thing, we got a very real enemy out there. And if he's already knows that he's got you, he don't have to necessarily bring that addiction back.
Right.
He's like, okay, this man won't never need Jesus. He thinks he's got it. He's clean.
Let's
All
just
right.
make him codependent.
There you go. Boom. Done.
It's just changing the sin. you know?
Yeah.
It's just changing the sin, man.
Yeah. Cross sinning.
Cross sinning for sure.
And I mean, this is a topic that's really going to get some
Yeah, I mean it's
Conversation
fine,
about
man.
it.
And I mean, we're having the conversation, and not every podcast we do can be a story or this and that. And do we love doing stories? Like, man, I don't know anybody that loves them more than me. Like, I was changed through somebody's story, but there are also difficult talks out there. There are people that need to hear that character modification is not enough. Like, it's a submission to the Lord. It's submission to something greater than yourself, which is Jesus. Like, I just say greater than yourself because that's what he is, but it's a submission to that and obedience to him that's going to change you. And sometimes it's tough obedience. People don't like that.
Yeah.
And I don't like it all the time either, but I didn't write it.
Yeah. However you feel, write it in the comments down
Yeah,
there.
please.
We want to hear from y'all too. If you disagree or agree, let us know.
You gotta get down in the valley and discuss some of these topics. You know what I mean? If all we do is share testimonies of redemption of all these things, man. I mean, it's great. It's great to hear. It's inspiring.
Yeah.
But these are talks that need to happen. You know what I mean? Discussing things like this are what need to happen.
Well, I mean, and I heard this deal a couple of weeks ago, and it's, I'm not going to elaborate too much, but, you get out of the house if it's on fire. Okay, great. Now what? Why do the houses keep burning up?
Yeah.
I need to know that too.
Yeah.
And I get getting out of the house, man. That is number one. Get out of it. It's freaking on fire.
Yeah.
But dude, why do they keep burning down?
Yeah. But if my house burns down, I'm just not going to forget about it and go on to my next house.
Yeah.
I'm going to do some digging and
done
some
that.
work, and
Have
I'm
some-
gonna be like, why did my house
Fire
burn down?
extinguishers, or
Yeah,
Do
I've definitely
something,
burnt
yeah.
down several houses.
Dude, I burned
Took
out,
a lot of baggage.
and I've
with me
run
everywhere I
out
went.
of them. You know, man, this is good stuff. I'm just trying to think of that next lead into question.
Man, I don't know. I think a great question is what leads a person to want to work in recovery. Like, what? How do you feel? How do you know you're called?
Yeah. How do you know that?
My answer is a long one.
I mean,
it is a long.
we've got editing capabilities, and
so-
we have
So for
a good
me,
time.
I think it all starts at John 3:16. Man, I will never forget it. I was facing jury trial, and they were going to give me like 15 years on 100%. It was like my 10th or 11th felony of the same thing. So they were hitting me with a habitual offender, and I went down there, and my uncle took me to court, and I'll never forget it. They literally told me, "Hey, prosecutor come over, said, look, man, you might as well just go on home, leave John 3:16 because it's not going to work for you. You're going to prison, and you're going on the 100%. And our first offer we're giving you is 15. If you don't take that, we're going to give you, 30." And I said, well, you don't know my God too well. I think I'm going to keep doing what I am doing. And so I continued on, and I'll never forget a week before, or the day before the trial, I was laying there in my room, and I had been on my face praying. And then I opened up the book of Acts, and in Acts chapter 27, Paul faces this northeastern storm, and it's a shipwreck, and he's going over to be tried in Rome, but they wind up finding Malta, you know what I mean? And so to me, it was like the words jumped off the page, and it's like, and maybe this was just a message for me, I don't know, but it was like, hey, dude, look, an angel of the Lord come down and told Paul in that, look, if you one man jump ship, there's going to be a loss of life. And I was literally thinking about jumping ship. And so, I kind of took that as like an angel of the Lord saying to me, hey, man, if you jump ship, you're definitely going to get that time. And so I chose to stay. Well, right on the other side of that, Paul hits Malta. It wasn't where he intended to be at, but that's where he was at. And that's kind of how I felt. Was like it was God saying, hey, Daniel, look, I'm going to pull you through this last shipwreck, but like some things are going to change. Like you're going to be serving me. You're going to be doing this for me or else. And so it was like, I'm going to pull you through the shipwreck. You're going to land at John 3:16, and that's where you're going to stay. Like you're going to pull other men out of this, and you're going to stay right here. And so that's when the words jumped off. Yeah. And then just like Jonah.
You didn't want to go to Nineveh.
I didn't want to go to Nineveh.
Yeah.
So he pulled me through it. A couple of weeks later, I become an instructor. Yeah. I stayed on for a little while. I left everybody at an event. Yeah. I left. I walked out.
Yeah.
And I'll never forget it. Brian Tuggle literally told me, he said, look, you're either going to do what God wants you to do from here or from prison. And it don't matter. He didn't start a work in you and not see it through. Yeah. And 4 years later, man, after I relapsed for 4 hard years, I found myself back here.
Yeah. So. Yeah, I think for me too, working at the ranch for so long and like losing that job and like learning why I lost it, and also like healing my mind in particular areas, and then coming here and watching over time some of the things that happened here, even when I screwed it up to the point of where I shouldn't still be here, and I'm still here. That tells me a lot. Even, I mean, like where I'm at right now, I didn't ask for this spot. Like the spot I had before, like that's what the real goal was in ministry. And now it's like I didn't even really have this in mind, and here I am. I think it just speaks to God saying, no, this is what you're going to do. And the other side of that too, man, I've never had a job before to where I wake up in the morning and I live, eat, breathe, and sleep this stuff. Like there's not a day that goes by that I don't want to come to work.
Yeah.
Now last Monday I didn't want to come to work because I didn't feel good. but I can't remember a day all of last year that I had a sick day, and I still wanted to be here. Like, I'm not supposed to be at home with Amber and the kids. That was almost as bad as. Hope she didn't watch that part,
We
but
probably didn't take off one day last year.
I don't think I did.
Neither.
Yeah.
Neither one of us. I know.
I don't know. We didn't. Yeah.
Took a day for vacation or whatever on the weekend.
Well, yeah, that because we were told to. Yeah. I mean, what about you, Matt? How do you know you're supposed to do this?
I'm not sure. I don't even know. I couldn't even tell you that. The fact is, I said probably a year ago I would never do this again. I thought at one point in my life that this was for sure what I was going to be doing for the rest of my life, and I just wasn't ready yet. And however, God did use me at the time to do some things, and I was able to work at Qualpaugh House for about a year, and then I started Saved by Grace House during COVID, and luckily that place still exists. Not for anything I did, because I about ran it into the ground. But I know that for some reason God has allowed me to be able to be here and to wake up every day and have a purpose. And I feel like I'm able to have a positive impact on other people's lives again, rather than just being a nuisance. And man, I'm just going to continue to try to do that. Like, I don't know what that looks like. I don't know if that means I'm, end up getting a full-time job here, or if I go work somewhere else. I don't know. I try not to live too far in the future anymore. Yeah. I just try to be like in the present and do everything I can to have a positive impact on other people.
I mean, there's no struggle. You know what I mean? And you can't always equate that to a calling, you know what I mean? But, like, I don't see a lot of struggle. I see the value you're adding to this. Like, all these videos y'all are watching, Matt's behind all that. Like, there are certain things that I don't think it ain't that Daniel and I couldn't do them. We just don't have a lot of time to do it. I'm trying to figure out a whole other spectrum of this ministry deal. And, there are just things that you're bringing to the table that it's adding value to the team. And so I think when we cease to add value, that calling may be over.
Right.
Sometimes it's seasonal. I've seen people that were supposed to do this for 3 months. I've seen some people 3 years. I've seen some 3 decades. So what about you, Wilburn?
It's kind of hard to explain, really. After I graduated Renewal Ranch, I started having kind of this unexplainable feeling like that I needed to do something, kind of radical, kind of like out there to, kind of give back. And I remember I went and talked to James Lloyd, and I was like, hey, man, like, I don't know what it is, but I feel led. And at the time, I was like, man, I'm going to go on a mission trip. You know what I mean? Like, I was on paper and couldn't leave the state, but I was going to go, like, overseas and all this stuff, right? And James, I'll never forget what he said. What he said to me, he said that every time you wake up and put your feet on the ground, you're on the mission field. And for the first couple years in recovery, I was kind of working at just kind of some dead-end jobs. No offense, First Class. And I don't know.
Tiffin, you heard that? He's a subscriber too, man.
Is it?
Yeah.
And it was a good place. It was a good place.
He's recanting.
Like, it was where I needed to be at the time. You know what I mean? So, but I wasn't fulfilled in any way. You know what I mean? So I feel like, especially in hindsight now, looking back, like, I see where God placed opportunities and placed people in my life too, because it kind of happened without me knowing it. Like,
Well, I mean, that's, I've kind of watched it, and I mean, I was your roommate, and before, like, you got in, you kind of volunteered, and it was the most unlikely thought that I ever had about you doing it. And then I watched you grow over the past 5 or 6 years doing it, and it's changed who you are.
Yeah.
So let's talk about that. So what's the difference between, how do you separate doing this versus your identity? Because that's I'm telling you, for several years, this is who I was. Yeah. And who I am is not a director of a program. That's what I do. Like, who I am is a blood-bought believer in Jesus Christ. And so those two things are hard to differentiate.
Well, you said it. I mean, that's the thing that took me down through there.
Yeah.
Like when I was running Saved by Grace House, is I had my entire identity
Yeah.
tied up in what I was doing there. And then when I had a bad moment or whenever the business started to not do so good, you know, then I started to not do so good.
Yeah.
Because my identity wasn't in Christ and I
Right.
wasn't taking care of myself. And
Yeah.
so when the business was bad, I was bad.
So here's the trick question. How do you obtain that? That's, you know, and for a long time, like I know that I'm a child of God, right? I mean, anyone in Christ, new creation. We've talked about that. And I knew that, but I didn't feel that way. I just felt like I was doing God's work, so I'm good. And then that kind of crumbled. And so what have y'all ever encountered that?
I think your motives have to be right,
Yeah.
for one.
Yeah.
Because mine weren't.
Oh, yeah.
You know, and then experience. Like you just, I mean, you don't get to determine your salvation.
Right.
You know, it was the very things that I'm talking about that I went through that made me who I am today.
All
you
right.
know?
Yeah, that's good. What about y'all?
I mean, what was the question?
I don't know.
I mean, there's absolutely like no doubt in my mind at this point right now that God does, like that I'm not doing what God wants me. I'm not at where I'm supposed to be at. You know what I mean? Like there's no doubt. Like I said, like in hindsight, like I look back, God put all these people in my life and opened all these doors for me and all this stuff. And I got to a point last year, man, where I got burnt out. You know what I mean? Like I had like compassion fatigue.
Yeah.
Where like I was having trouble relating, I was having no empathy. Like I got to a really rough point in my life.
Yeah.
Mostly because I was working from home, but I turned my back on it. I was like, you know what? I'm gonna do something else. Like this is obviously not what I'm supposed to be doing, and I did. You know, I went and did something else for 3-4 months, and it was cool for like a month or so. Like I'd go to work and I wouldn't have to think about work till the next morning. You know what I mean? Like it was nice for a little bit.
Yeah.
And then I started feeling like empty. You know what I mean? I started feeling like, man, I need to get back to it.
I think
And
that's
looking, yeah, and like looking at it now, man, it's crazy because like as soon as I started having those thoughts and like thinking that's when my phone started ringing. That's when you know God put it on somebody else's heart to reach out, and that's when I got a phone call about the position I'm in now, out of nowhere.
I don't
You know
know.
what I mean? Just like, and I was like, okay, like that seals it. Like,
I think the more you can keep your hands off of it and God still has you in it,
yeah,
you know, and I, you know, I've witnessed everyone at this table in that same predicament. Like I I don't know, man. Like when you're empty, you know, I had a dead end job too before I went to M18. It was horrible. I've never been so empty in my life, and I knew that wasn't what I was supposed to be doing. And you know, at the ranch, like it wasn't given to me at all. Like I mean, you earn what you get out there. You know what I mean? But at the same time, like you immediately get put in a position and they start paying you for it. And here, like that didn't happen. Like I had to volunteer for a long time, you know what I mean? But I just wanted to be back in this work. And eventually it played out for sure. I have another one here. Oh yeah. Compassion fatigue. Y'all ever experienced that where you're just like freaking burnt out, you know? And I think a lot of times when I get there, I used to be like, oh, I'm all right. You know, and then eventually like I have this freaking like nuclear meltdown and it's because I just haven't balanced my life well. Have y'all experienced that?
Yeah, I had to Narcan like 20 people in about a 2-month time period, 3 of them being really close friends of mine. One of them comes to church, sees me every now and then. Most of them are still alive, thank God.
Yeah.
But like during that time period, I definitely experienced it.
Yeah. What about you, Danny Ball?
Man, I want to say. I mean, here's the thing, man. Not yet. I don't think.
Yeah. I can see that.
And the reason why I say that is, I think one of the major factors is the fact that, you know, me and Leslie both work in ministry, and we've been blessed to get to do so, like beyond blessed. And I mean, it's been great. But the one thing that remains really, really strong in my life is my prayer life. And here's what I do know: if I don't pray a lot, like if I stop praying, then things get bad.
Yeah.
Like I don't even want to come to work or any of that. But man, if I keep my prayer life pretty much the exact same as it all, and that's why when people start talking about prayer, you know, for me, it's like, well, we need to do this prayer right here and this and that, and then I'm like, man, I feel like I feel like I've got a really good, strong prayer life. I feel like that's the reason why I'm at where I'm at is because my prayer life and then the time that I spend with God. Now here lately, I've been really checking myself on like how much time I'm spending on Facebook versus reading the Bible. And a matter of fact, today riding to church, you know, I pray when I go to drive, or I'll talk to God, whatever, however that may be. I guess that's prayer. But you know, I'll talk to and from work and things like that, and especially over to the church on Sunday mornings when I open up. But then I was like, man, you know, Lord, look, there's one thing that I know I've been lacking in, and it's like opening up my Word versus the amount of time that I open up Facebook. And so I am going to dedicate, you know, extra amount of time to this or whatever. And it was just something I made, you know, made a commitment with God with. But I still found myself today after that, opening up Facebook more.
Well, I mean, that's and that's something I'm checking myself on too right now. You know, and really like the main reason that I even got back on Facebook, like I took a 4.5 year sabbatical, like nothing. I didn't open it. You know, found myself wanting to every now and then. I mean, because it's so addictive. But you know, for 4.5 years, I just boycotted it, and that was all social media besides Twitter. That's different, but or is it? I don't think so. But I mean, you know, when I took on this new role, I'm like, man, we got to get our name out. You know what I mean? And when you've got 1,500 friends or whatever, you want to spread the word that what you're doing. And so through spreading the word about Every Arkansas in recovery, like I've got trapped into that Facebook hole, you know, that social media attachment, if you will. And so, you know, I'm really trying to practice what I have preached in that. I'm trying to like not be so on it and not really worry about like followers and all that, you know, that, and really that stuff's not that important. I mean, the main thing that was important to me was getting our word out and getting this platform right here out. Like, man, because these conversations, I think sometimes we have good conversations and they're valuable, and I would love to see, you know, this platform get increased. And so pretty much everything I do from my Facebook page is to build this platform right here. And hopefully, you know, maybe one day, God willing, please, Jesus, let us get monetized, and that monetization will go toward our ministry, like every penny of it. You have my word. Because before that, man, it wasn't important.
That's my whole goal.
Yeah. And so, like, through all that, but I mean, it's so easy to get trapped into, well, man, like, I had 400 likes on this, or like, look at the amount of followers we have. And dude, that's fun and great and fun to talk about. But I think a lot of people need to understand what our true motive is, man, is to build our ministry and is to help people. You know, I don't think you get to have that calling in life unless, like, God has put that burning desire in you to help people. It's not about a platform. It's about people. It's not about a policy or procedure or whatever. Like, it's about building people. And I mean, it's taken me a long time to really not only understand that, but feel that way. You know, and I'm just trying to find my love for people at a deeper level.
Yeah. And with the social media, man, I mean, it's like this. Like, I could still do the social media, but I need to be spending, you know, a lot more time with God, too, at the same time. And so it's just...
I mean, I think somebody said it best. KB said this one time, as a Christian rapper. He said, God, I've been doing your work so long that I forgot this was about you. You know? And man, it hit home with me when I heard that. A few rapid fire questions here. So when you are, you know, trying to correct somebody or trying to disciple, do you use a tough love or a soft approach?
Both.
That's my answer too. And I've gotten more soft over the years, but dude, I do have a very hard side.
I think, like, to be successful in this, man, you got to have the discernment to know what the person you are dealing with needs.
Yeah.
It's easy for me to talk to somebody for a couple minutes, be like, all right, this guy needs some tough love.
Yeah.
this guy needs some brutal honesty.
Yeah.
And then I talked to other guys, and I'm like, man, this guy's been through it, man. He needs
Yeah.
some.
He needs
some
love.
sympathy.
I mean,
Yeah,
he needs some
love,
soft
man,
love.
Yeah.
Because all love, just because I hate that. Like, people would be like, well, love is soft and gentle. Well, love sometimes is tough, man. You know, get a glove, get in the game. What about y'all? I know y'all's, but I want to hear it.
I was gonna say it depends.
Yeah.
Like, I usually start off like not tough,
Yeah.
you know, and then after 2 or 3 times, it's like, hey, dude,
Like,
what are we doing?
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, that's me. Like, I played baseball. So 2 times I'm going to be, man, hey, you know, but the 3rd time I'm going to get mad at you for letting people use the phone and call you out in front of the whole entire staff in a very rough way. I was talking with him earlier, but 2 times I've been like, hey, man, like the passivity and, you know, letting people run over you, like you can't do that, you know?
It's whatever's needed, man.
Yeah.
Whatever's needed.
It's that
And,
discernment in the moment.
yeah, it's just, I mean, like, there's guys that, like, you know, and I can think of one in particular where you just got to look at them and go, hey, man, look, you're here. I know that you've been a pastor for like 30 plus years, but like, you're here in this program. And so what you're not going to do is lead anything here right now. I'm not going to say you're never going to lead here. I'm just going to say that for right now, you're not leading nothing. Keep your mouth shut until you learn something for 30 days. And, you know, some people need that.
Yeah.
And there's other people where it's like, you know, you got to be really soft. And so I think I do a pretty decent job of finding a balance, but
Yeah, you do.
there's those times when it's like, hey man, look, you know, you got the John through them.
I'm from one extreme to the next. Like, rarely am I super balanced in the middle. Like, I'm either like, man, like, you know, just continue to do this, continue to pray, read the word and whatnot, and then eventually I'm just
Like,
gonna
you're gonna
smoke
cry.
them.
You're gonna cry either way. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You're gonna cry like tears of joy. You're gonna cry tears.
To me?
No, like whoever. I
Oh, yeah.
like, what you're gonna cry one? You're gonna
I've
good
cried
cry
4
or bad
times in
cry.
my life. Yeah. Yeah, that's true. That's
I'm either
good.
gonna be really tough or I'm gonna be like really
I remember,
loving. You know?
I remember back in the day, man, they used to say like tough love. And I remember they would tell my parents, like, you know, if he's an addict, you got to show him tough love and this and that. But then, man, I think back to it. And now that I do this, I think, what was the tough love really what worked, or did that just push me to like be a whole lot deeper in my addiction with a whole lot more charges and a whole lot more stuff? Whereas if they had just loved me where I was, would I have made it through it?
Yeah. Sometimes I think, and I can't like factually prove this, but sometimes I think if a person is ready to receive correction, it doesn't really matter how they get it.
Correct. I was just sitting here thinking that.
Yeah.
And I was just beat down so bad
Yeah.
this time that you could have yelled at me or whatever, and I would have just took it.
I didn't yell at you for like 4 months.
You
man.
didn't even talk to me. I honestly didn't even think you knew I was
6'7"
here.
inches tall. I was terrified. 6'7", bro. 6'7". Here's another question: is relapse part of recovery?
Absolutely not.
Yeah.
So I got to hear this. All right,
Uh-huh.
go.
I don't know. I was watching. Have y'all ever seen Beautiful Boy?
I have.
I do every morning.
Well, there's a Steve Carell book, or it's a book that I read, but it's a movie. Steve Carell's in it, and it's like follows a father when he deals with his son's addiction. It's a really good movie. If you should watch it.
Okay.
But at one point, when somebody like a counselor tells him that, he tells him like, you know, relapse is just part of recovery, and he's like, that's like saying that crashing a fighter jet is
Part of flying.
part of flying a plane.
Yeah.
No, I believe that I haven't relapsed since I've been clean.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't think no, it's definitely not. I mean, it's good for
This may be the next topic. But
it's good for places that make $1,000 a day from you being there. It's a good thing to drill into your head to make you feel that like that's okay.
that's another topic too.
So I mean, why wouldn't they want you coming back if they're getting paid off you every time? You know what I mean? So
That's RFK's new thing now. He is on that. I don't know how much y'all keep it with RFK. He's kind of my hero, but
no, it's definitely not a part.
can't stand to hear him talk. I heard somebody say that the other day. I definitely can't stand to hear him talk, but like he's my hero. What about you? Relapse part of recovery?
It was for me.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, I had to realize, man, there's a lot of stuff that had to happen. You know, I had to have a lot of stuff rooted out of me because I was, you know, I went to prison early, 17 years old. You know, I kind of grew up there for a couple of years, got out. Man, that had a lot of work to do.
Yeah.
By the time I got to John 3, I mean, I was like night and day different by the time I got here.
Yeah.
In fact, like unrecognizable even to me. Like, I don't even know how I used to be that person.
You know, there have been few people, and I'll give you some props. There have been few people that have come through our program that have been on fire to the point of where it was like, come what may, I don't care. And you're one of them. Yeah. About you, Matt? Relapse part of recovery?
No, relapse is part of addiction. It's part of relapse. Recovery is something else, you know. Now, a lot of people that are going through addiction find recovery, you know. But I know from my own situation, I don't, even looking back on it now, even with 2 or 3 years of sobriety, I was still unhappy, you know, and my spiritual life was not good, you know, and I was literally just like clawing to try to keep what I had, mainly out of shame. I felt like I was a phony all the time. That's not recovery.
Yeah.
You know, that's just not using.
Yeah.
You know, and so like I had to, like the freedom I feel today, the peace that I have now is nothing I've ever had before.
Yeah.
And, you know, I always felt out of place. You know, my whole life I felt out of place.
Yeah.
You know, I felt like something wasn't right. And, you know, now my relationship with God, my dependence upon God, to get through each day and like not worry, you know, but that wasn't something that came overnight. It was something that came by me spending a lot of time with God and really asking for it. I mean, I asked for it.
Yeah.
Over and over again.
I've never really given it a lot of thought. I mean, the way I look at it is maybe very different, you know, because I said this last week when we were doing Casey's show, and I said, you know, like recovery is a bad word and that it should be more transformational. And so if I apply the word transformation to it, I don't think that it really matters. That was part of my journey. You know, I failed. So like if recovery can be like the supplemental word for journey, then maybe, yeah. But I mean, I see what y'all are saying as far as, you know, it just being a part of relapse too. So I don't know. I've just never given it a lot of thought, man. I know as far as my transformation, I had to bump my head. Had to.
I mean,
it had to happen.
Honestly, I think you could even say like relapse is the absence of recovery. You know what I mean? Like,
that's good too. Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
it's the complete opposite, really.
Yeah.
I've been going through this whole show. I've been sitting here without my headphones on this whole
Yeah.
time. I just noticed it.
Well,
I thought you were just making a statement.
Oh,
he
yeah,
was.
no, I was
Fashion
just-
statement.
Setting himself apart.
He's
Yeah.
unique. Yeah, he's unique. He doesn't need his
It's okay.
headphones. And
You are
really,
unique.
really, to do a podcast, you don't need headphones, but we wear them because A, they look cool, and B, it's a lot easier to hear what y'all are saying.
Yeah, you can definitely hear
Yeah.
a lot better.
Let's shift gears a little bit. Let's ask this: if someone is considering working in recovery, what would you tell them?
Don't do it.
It's trick.
Be ready.
Be ready.
That's what I tell them.
Yeah.
Be ready. Like, you don't know what you're getting yourself into. I feel like this is something that you get called to do. You know what I mean? And it requires sacrifice, and it requires patience, and it's tough, man. It's hard. Like, I wouldn't recommend it to anyone. Most of the time, I mean, sometimes, some days, man, you'll catch me like, what? Why, God? Why'd you pick me to do this, man? Like, I don't want to do this.
I don't want to go to Nineveh.
Yeah. But
Sometimes you don't want to go to Nineveh.
yeah, be ready. Be ready, because you're gonna have to do what it takes to be successful. Like,
I'll talk them out of it. I'll try.
Yeah.
My hardest to talk them
that's
out of it,
good.
because here's the deal. If you're called to do this work, no matter who's trying to talk you out of it, you're not going to.
Yeah, you're not going to listen to them at all. Yeah,
And so-
several people tried to talk me out of it this round.
But-
What about you, Maddie?
I would say just examine your heart
Hmm.
and your motives, and you know, if you think that you want to become a peer sports specialist because that's the cool thing to do, I would suggest probably going and get a puppy or something because that's going to be way more fun.
Yeah.
You know, or don't try to become a person in this field because you struggle with addiction or you go to a lot of 12-step meetings.
Yeah.
You know, like go to more 12-step meetings.
No.
If that lazy streak is in you, you're definitely not cut out for anything that we do.
And I would also ask them, like, how do you feel about money?
Yeah.
Like, do you like
Yeah.
it?
Do you like money?
Like, do you like
'Cause
having
there ain't
money?
none.
Because if you do, then this isn't the job for you.
Yeah.
But no, I mean, I think like there's a misconception that like, and it started kind of with peer recovery that like, hey, are you in recovery? Then you should work in recovery. And that's not the
Yeah.
case, man. That is not a reason. That everybody that's in recovery, just because you're in recovery doesn't mean you're cut out to work in recovery because it's not one and the same. It's
Well,
completely
I mean, and two, think about the success rates. You know, and so you put all this work in somebody, and at the end of the day, like statistically, they're not going to make it. Statistically, I'm not saying someone is or ain't, so don't beat me up in the comments. But what I am saying is this: there's not a high success rate for what we do, and so A, I would say don't get ready to get paid. B, get ready to get let down. C, get ready to not be lazy. And D, it's not cut out for everyone.
Be ready to get your heart broke.
Yeah,
A lot.
a
It's
lot.
gonna stay broke.
Yeah, and be ready to go to a funeral eventually.
Yeah.
That's unfortunately that's part of something that we deal with.
Yeah, go get a job at an old folks home, you know, because they don't go get high.
Yeah, and you're caring
Most
for
of the time.
people. You're
Yeah.
caring, and they
And
can't
call it rehab.
outrun you.
Yeah, no,
They can't outrun you.
no, and they need help.
Yeah, they
too.
can't leave because they probably got one of those little accountability watches that make them GPS-ly bound there. I don't know if the GPS-ly is a word, but it sounds good.
It should be. If it's
Should be what it is now.
OGP. Shaw, you just get back from Nineveh?
Nineveh.
All right,
I kind
so
of like saying Nineveh.
so flip it to this. Why is what we do worth it? Why is it worth it?
It's not.
That's sort edit that out.
Just because it's where God wants me right now.
It's a tough question, man.
It is a tough question.
Why is it worth it? Like
'Cause-
here's the butter bar answer, like the one that everyone's wanting to hear, and they're like, "Well, it's because you're saving lives and you're building the kingdom and all this, and that's the regular old cliche answer." And
Yeah.
I'll tell you this: the more that can become true and like a really heartfelt feeling in your life,
Yeah.
that's a good thing.
I think it's obedience. I mean, for me, it's being obedient to what God's called me to do, which, I mean, really, honestly, He's called us all to do this.
Yeah. You
He's
just don't
called
have to
us
be
all-
on a staff to do it.
Yeah, He's called us all to go out and preach and teach and teach and lead men to Jesus. And so, I mean, man, it's about obedience. It's about loving your neighbor and loving yourself.
It's discipleship.
Yeah, and I don't think we're necessarily in the life-changing business, man. We're more in like the seed, like we're more in like seed planting. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
that's when I first started when I first started working recovery, I had this ground. I was like, oh, I'm gonna change all these
Change
lives,
lives, and people are going to be saved, and they're going to sing from the mountains.
No, what we do or what we need to do is we need to be planting seeds. You know what I mean? Like if somebody, odds are, I mean, if you're working with a guy and stuff, the odds are against him. You know what I'm saying? Like the odds are against him. He might not make it.
I mean, the odds were against us when we woke up this morning.
Exactly. So I mean, and also you got to look at it like, okay, like I'm getting an opportunity every day to make my past like worth it. You know what I mean? Like I get to like pour into people, and I get to use, all the bad decisions and all the bad stuff I did like as fuel to keep things going, man. Like it kind of makes it worth it, man.
I was talking to Cam about that a while ago. He said, "Man, I just feel like I've wasted all my life." And I said, "Man, like God is not going to let your past life go in vain." I said, "But it's all about how you want to use it." You don't have to have a staff T-shirt and have your little phone and you're on the, you got an email address and all that. Like, you don't have to have all that. That's why we call our program a discipleship program, and in every little area of it, from what we do in the office to how we teach the guys to train the next guy coming up to be able to do the job duty that the next guy's going to have to do. Like, every bit of it is discipleship, and we're all called to that. So that's good. Man, I feel like we have had a really good conversation. I'm glad that Brandon Shaw messed the recording up last week, just to be honest. And all right, well, that is going to conclude our show for the week. We've talked about a lot of topics for people that work in recovery. And just remember, at the end of the day, like, we're all called to this. You don't have to be getting paid in a recovery home or working at a treatment center or whatever the case may be. Like, we're all called to help one another out, man. And so at the end of the day, we hope that's what people want to do. Man, I know for us, like, we love to get to do what we do. It has its ups, it has its downs. It's definitely a roller coaster. But man, like, we do look forward to it every day. And man, I think that's about all I can really say about that. I can't.
This is the Prodigal Perspective, presented by EA Recovery.